Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Reed versus Campbell.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
Good day.
Ms. Reed, you say the father of your 3-month-old son, Keandre, was tragically murdered early this year. You claim his mother, Ms. Campbell, is the biological grandmother, and you are here to prove it today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Campbell, you claim you've never heard of Ms. Reed prior to your son's death, nor did your son ever tell you he was expecting a child. You feel Ms. Reed is motivated by money, and you refuse to accept her baby until the DNA proves otherwise. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Reed, explain. Why are you so desperate to prove that Ms. Campbell is your son's grandmother?
Today, Your Honor, I'm here to prove it because family means everything to me. Because when I didn't meet my dad, I didn't meet my father till I was 14. And I don't want that for Keandre. So I'm here today to prove to Miss Campbell, to Angela, that that she is his biological grandchild. But inside my heart, like, I try not to be mean about it, but inside my heart, I feel like she's being selfish about it. And I know that she don't know me, but I'm just here to prove that Keandre is her grandchild.
I'm not being selfish, I'm just being cautious.
I understand.
Ms. Campbell, I'm very sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
All of you. And I know this is very difficult. You say you're being cautious.
Yes.
Can you tell the court why you feel that way?
I love all babies, don't get me wrong. But if it's a baby that belongs to me, I would like to know that. And I don't want to fall in love with a baby and then end up, I can't be with that child anymore.
And you're afraid you've lost your son. You don't want to lose the baby.
Exactly. Because he'll be another version of my son.
Right. You can understand that, can't you, Miss Reed?
Yes, ma'am. See, Your Honor, like, me and Kendrick was, like, true enough, we was friends with benefits, but he was also, like, my best friend, Your Honor. So, like, when he died, it's like a part of me left with him.
And how long were you? You say you were friends with benefits. How long was this arrangement, this relationship? How long?
It was 8 years, Your Honor.
So even while you were in relationships with other people and you were still having sex with one another?
Yes.
So, Ms. Campbell, I know we have to have such difficult testimony right now, but we're just trying to understand this as it relates to the paternity matter. I need to ask you, Ms. Reed has testified that she was a friend with benefits. Did your son ever mention a friend?
No, Your Honor.
In Ms. Reed?
No, Your Honor. I knew nothing about her up until my son passed, and I heard she gave me a few phone calls after his death, and that was the only time I heard from her. She told me that she was pregnant by my son. So I was curious on how come I was just not finding out about her being pregnant by my son.
And your son never even mentioned Ms. Reed was having his baby potentially, that someone was having his baby?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing?
No, Your Honor. Not a thing.
And when he passed, how many months along were you, Ms. Reed?
I was 5, Your Honor. And the day that Kendra died, February the 24th of this year. And when I found out, it was February the 25th. After I just left the doctor's office, finding out that I was having a little boy. And that was something that Kendra always wanted, was a son.
He always told me he always wanted a son. But he never told me that he was about to be pregnant by one.
So you know he wanted a son, but he never said, Mom, and I'm having one.
No. I always heard from Kendrick. Kendrick would always tell me what was going on, especially if he was having a baby.
And what was your relationship like with your son? It sounds like you were very close.
Yeah, we had a real close relationship. Because I always used to tell Kendrick, I don't care what you do, what nobody say about you. You keep your head up. And you always call me, let me know what's going on with you, because I never know what's going on with you. And I tell all of them, I want to keep up with all y'all, because see, I stayed in Troy, and he stayed down there in Montgomery. And I always tell them, y'all call me regardless. Don't let me have to come call y'all. I won't hear from y'all after 2, 3, 4 months before I hear from any of y'all, because you never know what happened. And just so happened, I had to get my other sons to come to my house and tell me my son was gone.
Oh.
And that was the worst feeling of my life.
Oh, I know.
I never want to go through that again. That's why I tell all of them, never not call me. Tell months and months without calling me or let me know what's going on with y'all.
And you feel like with all that communication and everything you shared, if he thought he was having a son, you feel like he would have told.
Yeah, he would have told me that. He wouldn't not did, because he always would tell me if he's having a baby by someone. Because he always used to talk about if I had a son, what would he do? He had that girl, but he never did get a chance to live and see him having a boy.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So, Miss Reed, can you tell the court, when was the first time you met Miss Campbell?
It was, the first time I met Miss Campbell, it was the day we went to the funeral home to see Kendrick in, Kendrick's body. That's when I told her who I was, and I told her that, I was the one who having a child by Kendrick. And I gave her ultrasound pictures stating that it was a boy, and ultrasound pictures of the baby. And I was like, then that's when me and her both, I told her if she wanted a DNA test, I would give her one. And we both agreed, that once the baby was born, we was gonna have a DNA test.
Do you remember that conversation, Miss Campbell?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
And you agreed to the DNA test because you did want to know.
Exactly.
Did you participate in the birth? Were you there?
No, I didn't know anything about when she had the baby. I didn't know. Only time I found out when she had the baby, when she contacted me in July, I think it was July 3rd.
But if you had such a cooperative conversation with Miss Campbell and she agreed about the DNA test and you're certain that her son is Keandre's biological father, why not include her in all of the birth, the doctor's appointments, the updates? Why not include her?
Okay, at the birth was so sudden, Your Honor, because I supposed to have had Keandre on July the 1st. Keandre came June the 30th. And so the first person I contacted was D. And I told him I was having Keandre that day. And when I came back out, I texted and told D that I had Keandre. And he was like, well, I'm gonna come tomorrow to see the baby. So I said, okay, good. But by me not thinking about Miss Campbell right then, because I was so highly sedated under the medicine, Your Honor, it's just the first person I thought about was just D to contact. But I'm sorry that I'm sorry, and I'm truly am sorry that I did not contact you to for the birth or anything like that.
Yeah, because I felt like if he is my grandson, I should have been there. I should have been the first one to be called.
That's why I said I'm sorry. I did not know. I'm sorry. I'm truly is. From the bottom of my heart, I am really sorry.
I'd like to hear from the witness. Sir, can you please stand? Step over to the podium and state your name for the court.
My name is DeQuandre Campbell.
Okay. And Mr. Campbell, you are Miss Campbell's other son?
Yes, ma'am.
You are Kendrick's brother?
Yes.
All right. You remember Ms. Reed calling you and saying that the baby was coming?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe that Keandre is your brother Kendrick's biological son?
Yes, ma'am. I believe he's the father, because I don't believe, she would take us through all of what she's been taking us through for it not to be his.
So, Ms. Reed, I want to ask you, how are you so certain that Kendrick is Keandre's biological father when you admit you all were not in an exclusive committed relationship, you both dated other people too? How do you know for certain?
Because around about the date of conception, it's in September, and during the whole month of September, me and Kendrick was around each other all the time.
And you weren't having sex with anybody else during that time?
No, ma'am. No, Your Honor.
DeQuandre, you may have a seat. Miss Campbell, you've met Keandre, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You've seen the baby. When was the first time you saw him?
The first time I saw Keandre was in the court where we was going to try to do a DNA, and she didn't ask me. I would thought she would have asked me, could I hold him? Could I could see him. This is your grandbaby. She didn't introduce me to him, even though I knew that's the baby, and it made me even more not think that he's my grandson, because I'm like, if he's my grandson, why can't I hold him? Why can't I look at him?
Ms. Reed, that does sound odd.
I understand, Your Honor, but it was kind of cool in the courtroom where we was at, and Keandre had on a onesie, and he wasn't nothing but 2 months at the time, and by it being cold, and then plus at the same time, Keandre was asleep.
I understand where you're coming from, but given the circumstances, it would feel odd to me as a grandmother.
Yeah, I think it's just because of the death benefits.
You feel like she's more concerned about the money?
Money, yes.
Is that the case, Ms. Reed?
No, ma'am. No, Your Honor. Not saying this in a bad way, but since Keandre been here on this earth, Your Honor, I've been taking care of Keandre ever since. Because that's just the type of parent I am. And I don't ask nobody for nothing, because I feel like he's true enough, he's my responsibility, but I feel like since by him being my responsibility, I'm gonna have to make stuff work for me.
And we really are dealing with some very high stakes as well.
Yes, ma'am.
At this point, if Kendrick is his biological father, he's unfortunately gonna grow up never having known his father. But I need to ask you something. I feel like for you to be involved with him for so many years, and you to admit that you both dated other people, are you sure, Ms. Reed?
Yes.
Sure that you didn't date anybody else during that time?
No.
Because it wasn't like you all were in a relationship.
Right. But at the time, no, ma'am, I did not date anybody else. Kendrick was the only person that I dated at that time. Now, he had other hidden agenda, because the day that I came out to Miss Angela revealed that Kendra had a whole nother girlfriend. So obviously, Kendra had a lot going on.
So there's a lot at stake here, because truthfully, neither one of you have very real trust, because you don't know one another.
No.
Just right.
No, I don't.
I think it's time we get the results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. Because there wasn't a blood card available to test the DNA of the deceased, Kendrick Campbell, we performed a DNA test with his surviving parent, Angela Campbell. These are the results. In the case of Reed versus Campbell, when it comes to 3-month-old Keandre Reed, it has been determined by this court. The percentage of relatedness is 99%. You are related.
Oh, can I give you
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I needed that. Now I got my son all over again.
I told you.
Mr. Campbell, you want to go stand with your mom? You all have been through so much. Sometimes it's, you know, it just feels so dark. It's hard to find a silver lining. It's hard to find some light. It's hard to find some hope. And I just hope this truth today, Miss Campbell.
Yes, it is. It's closure. That's all I wanted.
Yes.
Closure. Now I got it. Thanks to you.
I say often, they call me Your Honor, but it really is my honor. It really is. It is truly my honor to help you find the closure you need, to just keep trying to move forward.
I will.
And now you have a beautiful piece of your son still here on this earth, his legacy, something he's always wanted.
And he can't be here to see him and be with him. That's what hurts the most.
That's why I said, Your Honor, we are here. That's why we came to the court, to get the closure. Now that she know that Keandre is her grandson, whenever she wanna come and get him, just call me.
Trust me, I am.
I'm so happy you all came, and I'm so happy we were able to get you the truth. I wish you all the very best. Court is adjourned.